All right. Well, this is Ryan Morini. I'm sitting here with Wilton Russell on June 22nd, 2012. Could you state your full name and spell it for me?
It's Wilton Russell. Wilton Russell.
And your date and place of birth?
We're at Bays, Andros, the Bahamas, 22nd of December, 1956. And I am 56.
Oh, wow. Fair enough. Where were you born? I mean, I guess there wasn't a hospital around, or?
Well, that's a very good question you asked me. Some people would be ashamed to say things like this, but I'll tell you the truth. I was born in a house about the size of this room. And that house was 2 rooms. In those days, we used to call the hall, where you eat, sit down, and talk and pray. The other is a bedroom. So that's the first house my grandmother did own. And we built out of pine. They made those lumbers themselves. My grandfather, something he used to call an adze, like a pickaxe, but no prong on the back. It doesn't have that pick on the back of it. It's just the blade.
The adze, yeah. Like
and they chipped. That's how they build their sailing sloops too. And that's how they carve with the canoes too, with that same thing, adze. And that's how the house was built, with the adze, wooden pin, not even nails. There was no shop around to buy no nails. So they take Satan wood from out the bush, out the jungle, and sharpen every yards and use that for pin. Bow, I don't know how they get those whole bow. Even though I'm a wood carver, my grandfather pretty smart. But he put that house together, so awesome. Our house is still standing today.
Wow.
And the house was there before I was born. I was there, my grandmother told me, 15 years before I was born. And before the house was there, they were living in a thatch roof. Just thatch roof. Now, there's only one more thatch roof left in the yard. That thatch roof is over 60 years old. And it's still there to show how strong the straw on that building is. All we does is repair. As soon as it started leaking, Mama said, Puna, but camp leaking, man. Please go try get some straws, come try, see if you can stop that leak in the camp. I said, Mama, let's do it completely or make it look new for the tourists. She could always depend on her Puna, you know. I go ahead and I cut the leaves. We call these type of leaves host ridge leaves. I go and get like 3-4 bundles of them, as much as you can possibly tie up, put it on your head. You got to walk through the jungle with it on your head. Even if a wild boar behind you, got to run with your leaves on your head from the wild boars. Or drop your leaves and go up in the trees, tell wild boars go, and then you pick up your leaves and you start taking off again, you know, till you get home to Mama. And you go ahead and you touch the building over again. That's how I was brought up, and that's what I did to help her out, because she had nobody big as me and wise as me to do this kind of stuff at the time. It's a very good question.
Well, thank you. So what do you consider your ethnic or racial background to be?
Well, truthfully, I was told, not what I experienced, is what I was told I can talk about. You know, my grandmother, like I said, she taught me all of her legacies and everything, so I only can relate what she have taught me and what I have discovered myself through the jungles and from eligible people like ourselves, which already passed on. Because both and her taught me, okay? My grandfather, both grandfathers have taught me certain things and different things from her. So, like I said to you coming up in the elevator, I have a lot of stories, so we be all day, I'll be telling stories all day. So, you know, my grandfather, my grandmother, and my grandfather, they both told me that we are Seminole Indians, descended from Florida. So I said, how come we descended from Florida? That's the question I asked them. So they said, there was a bad storm came down one time ago, 1926, And also another earlier year she mentioned, I can't really remember which year this in here, but it's in the history of Wales, but you'll see it there. And these strong, brave young men now, an eligible man, left out to go fishing. And they couldn't turn back because the breeze was in back of them, which is in the west. The hurricane came from the west, from the U.S. They had east, and they were all there fishing in their sloops. In the river fishing, and wave and the wind keep pushing them. Keep pushing it. You try to go back to the U.S., they couldn't make it back to the U.S. So they keep on going forward. They keep on going forward. These brave young men them landed on this place called Sami Lewis, McQueen Well. Okay? I can tell you about this because I know these places. I fish around these areas, and I grew up as a boy hunting in these areas and farming in these areas. There are still some sites left in these areas to show that these people were there. Now, the reason for me believing that I'm a Seminole is because I think if you want to know the truth about your heritage, you should ask your mother or your father, or your grandmother or your grandfather. And that's what makes me to believe that I'm an Indian. You know what I mean? Because they are Indians. Now, you can see it in them. You may not can see it clearly in me, but if they were alive today, you would see it in them because they look just like those people down there. Especially the guy who gave me this. My grandfather, identical person. You know, I started to tell him that when I first saw him. I said, do you know you resemble my grandfather? Can you give me this? I said, do you know you resemble my grandfather? But I didn't say anything. Yeah. And Galaguchi, they mixed up. They all were in the soups too. We all come over from Florida, and they couldn't turn back because the weather was too bad. And if they go back, everybody would die. They'd never reach land. Canoes are only but this height. Some of them, some lower than that. So, you know, they had to save their lives. And they landed on this place called McQueen Well. And they're going up to this place called Sami Lewis. A high, high ground with a big trees on it. Big, tall trees. These trees are called wild mangoes. Okay? And they're going on this. The land is not too big now. It's not a big land. It's maybe with a square of this golf cart, this hotel yard circle, with a parking lot and on the back side like that. Not even up that way where it's gone to these. So I'll say about approximately 400 meters diameter.
Okay.
Sami Lewis. And all of them stood there until the storm cooled down. And after the storm cooled down, they jumped in their canoes. And they went to this place called McQueen Well. Okay? And as they went to McQueen Well, another storm catch them there. Okay? Because they started farming, you know. And they think that's the safest place because it was kind of high. Much higher than Sami Lewis. And they went there and they started raising cassavas. Only God knows where they get them plants from to put in the ground. But Indians are wise people. Every time they travel with food or seeds. That was pretty clever. So we went to McQueen Well, and they planted these corn, bean, potatoes, cassavas, pumpkins, yams, and stuff like that. Another storm came down. That kills out a lot of them. Oh man, it's going to be an interesting one for you guys this morning. I was there. Ancestors run me from there. The ancestors, them, they run me from there. Live night, the sun just going down. They run me from there, ancestors, them. Those that dead and wasn't buried, they rolled me and my friend out, who was sponging. We were collecting sponges, putting the sponges on the shore. And I hear this rolling coming from out to sea, like a bad weather. And the whole place turning dark. The two dogs that we have, one pit bull, one pot cape. Jezebel and White Paul. Me and Sam Marshall, my uncle's son. We just done cook our fish and rice. I'm gonna complete the story about the Indians with the seeds and stuff and the plantation and everything. But I can't leave this piece out for you. I want you to know ancestors' spirit are still alive. The flesh and the bone is gone, but the ancestor's spirit still lives on. We sat in the yard eating our fish and rice. And you know, as I heard the roaring coming from out west, from out in the open sea, I said, Sam, I said, look out there. He said, look out there? He said, look this way, to the east. So I looked this way to the east. When I looked that way to the east, I said, behold, Jesus of mercy, what is this? Here goes like a water spout. You know, you ever saw a water spout before? Man, it comes like this, like a tornado spinning like that. And it round and round the camp, cycle, round and round the camp. So we dash in the camp. Me and him. The dogs, they came broadside through the camp. They didn't come in like with the hair like that. They came in like the butt part, pushing through the back and like they, you know, they trying to bite and trying to fight. So I said, boy, that's more than what you think it is. So I pick up my Bible, because I always travel my Bible. He always travels his Bible. But that didn't stop those dogs. Those dogs tried to fight what they ought to do. Was in the front of that door. So I slammed the door and take the stick and turn it across like that. Because the door only was this high. A little kid, you know how we build our camps, Indian huts. Small. Only 2 guys on the shoreline and this and that. But you believe when that roaring was over, and them 2 dogs come in the camp, I come outside after and read the Bible with the cutlass in my hand. When I looked, I saw 2 big trucks. 2 big trucks, big like this. I said, Sam, come here, Sam. And I follow these trucks. And just how the tornado come, that's just how the truck going back. I said, you see what I'm telling you? Some people die on this place, wasn't buried. McQueen Hill. Till today, would you believe from that day to this day I haven't been back there? I ain't been back there. I'm talking about 4 or 5 years ago. 4 to 5 years ago, I haven't been back there. Sam, I don't think he going back there either. And only one person I heard being there. Somebody had Miss Russell and Howard there to explore, do some exploring. And I saw it on the screen downstairs, where you see that high ridge of land or a piece of wood in the water in front of the land like that, like a piece of wood laying in the water almost, something like that. That's not the coral sticks. Them coral sticks is in the front of red base dog. But that piece of wood which you see laying on one part of the screen show what she was showing, that's McQueen well there. That's the legend place where many Seminoles has died. And they died on the natural ground. The storm killed them because they ain't had time to build no houses. They ain't had time to build no camps. They were living in little tents, you know, little like tents. Easy to, if you punch it, perhaps it'd fall from over them. So they had very little place to secure themselves. They had very little time to secure themselves. And from there, those who left behind, they moved up further to another place called Cedar Coppice. That's another higher piece of ground. And that's like approximately about a mile from McQueenville. And they stayed there. My grandfather was one of those. My daddy was one of those guys. He was one of the survivors, Sherry Russell. My grandfather, Pa Nelson, was one of those who got swept away. Okay? And his canoes and him disappeared. When my grandfather, Bruce Marshall, on my mother's side, he survived. And that's how come he could bring a couple from the Russell family in his canoe to Cedar Coppice. And then the Colebrookes, the McNeils, the Evanses, the Evans and the Rolls, and the Johnsons, and the Bars, the Lewis, the Lewises and the Newtons, the Russells, whoever could have fit in different canoes, they fit those couple of people in there and they bring them to see the carpet. They brought their seeds with them too. And they did the same thing what they did to McQueen Well. Try to find a higher ground so they can rehabilitate, you know what I mean? But something happened very badly, very, very bad. In those days, storms were coming pretty fast. And another storm came. No one died at the Cedar Carpet place there at the storm part because they went deep into the pine yard and higher ground. And that's where they find shelter there because many of them went in caves. And God bless those caves, saved a lot of the babies' lives too. So after the weather was over, they came out of the caves and they came back to their canoes and they keep paddling north with their seeds and everything till they reached to this place called Lewis Coppice, which is known to be Red Bay right now, where I born. And they stood there for approximately about 5-6 years. 5-6 years they stood in Red Bays, growing their seeds, trying to build the tents and stuff so they can rehabilitate themselves. And another storm came there too, like I was mentioning to you further at first. What happened? It killed out a lot of them again because they keep on breeding, And what happens is that the older ones always be the ones who get killed out. They're weak, they can't run for their life. The stronger ones who have more strength, you can't stay there to lift a guy weighing about maybe 200 pounds to run with him or maybe 180 pounds to run with him. Then you got your little brother, perhaps your sister to run with or your mommy. You don't want to leave your mommy behind. That's how it was, Sometimes when I speak these stories, it used to make me cry, Yeah, it used to make me cry because I can place myself in that position. And I feel for those people. Even up to now, I still feel. When they were lecturing down there, Miss Russell and Howard, and she showed out the preview with my grandmother with the straw hat on, the storyteller, Miss Marshall. I hang my head down like this in the audience. Nobody knows what was going on. And God bless, I had on my shades because tears was falling on my eyes. Real true. So, and you know what happened? They stood in Red Bay and they rehabilitated Red Bay. And they wind up with about 30 odd people in Red Bay at the time, after the storm was over. And I wouldn't say Red Bay. It's Red Bay now, but I like the word Lewis Coppice because that's what it was called. And then there is a place in Red Bay called Lost Man Carpet. This place was so thick with bush. Like close to the golf park over there, you see how high those bushes are? This is how Red Bay was at the time when the Seminole reached there. And it was so thick. There, Mr. Joe Lewis' son and himself and the McNeil family and the Newton family and the Russell family, the Lewises, the Barrs, the Colbrooks, and the Evanses, all of them, and the Rolls, and many others. They went through the bush. But one man, one single guy, his name was Sami Lewis. He was an Indian chief. He was the chief of the Seminoles. He went so deep into the jungle, he got lost. It took them 3 days to find. They took the rest of the Indians 3 days to find this guy. And he wasn't far away from the camp. But he screamed, he yelled, he shoot his mustard, the guns they used to carry called mustard. He shot that. Nobody could hear it. That's how thick this bush and high and thick it is. So anyway, God has been good to him. He keep on traveling and traveling until he gets back out to a thinner part of the coppice, which is called Red Bay. And he heard some noises. So he headed towards good thing the wind was blowing in the right direction to send the echo of the noise in his direction. So he followed where he heard the sound of the people. He said, oh, praise the Lord, thank God. I find back where I come from. And when they saw him and he saw his family, he fell down. 3 days, no food, no water. He's weak and tired and exhausted, you know. He fell down. He just like, he blacked out, you know. They call it, he blacked out. He'd been there for quite a while. They gave him some arrowroot. So I was riding along the road. You see that little plant wood in the valley of the ditch on the side of the road? Look like it has one leaf sometimes, and they all bunched together. And the water going down there by the bank where we was yesterday. That's in Augustine, but it's on the edge of the road, not far away from the big pit over here. Looks like where they make some kind of filling or something like that, you know. But I saw these arrowroot plants, so Mr. Wallace said, Wilton, see, look at the arrowroot. I said, yeah, those are the things now that give the baby strength when they're dying. Those are the things that give the babies life when they're dying. So America has something here that can save lives, and y'all do not know. Okay? I'm a doctor. My grandmother taught me to be a doctor, bush doctor. So I look at these plants, I say, wow, they have something that can save big human lives if you're weak and dying. Bring you back strong. And it's right in the ditch. They have it like a roses growing in the valley of the water. I said, arrowroot. Wow. That's the Indian food. What we used to do when we get dead hungry and we hunting wild boars, we go and we dig it up, take off the little leaves off it, the little stuff off it, and we push it, build a fire. Because in them times, it wasn't no match. We used to use a stick. We got to let sometime, we do that so much till our shoulders them hurt us trying to make fire with a stick, you know what I mean? We rubbing that stick, you know, and you look, fire comes. So we put our root in the fire. And here goes, we got something to eat many times. That's a very good question you asked me. You have any more to ask?
A few. We'll just. So, what was your grandmother's name again? Just so we have it on the.
Amelia Marshall.
Okay.
Amelia Marshall. But those who are friend of her, known her to be Mina. Mina was her nickname. Mina, yeah. Everybody who were eligible than me, they used to call her Mina. They don't call her Amelia. They call her Mina. She said, I ain't no damn Mina. I ain't no Amelia. She used to make me laugh all the time. She used to tell the tourists, now look, you sit down there. Don't want to tell. Every word come out of my mouth, I want $1. That's what she tell the tourists, you know. The lady with the goat under the throat, that's my mom, you know. She said, every word come out of my mouth, I want $1. I tell my God, do this. Mama, please don't do that. Mama, you're going to make the people embarrassed. Please, Mama, don't do that. Put no shame on. These people come to me to get information from me. They got to pay for the information. I don't know. Oh boy, she was something. Loving lady, sweet old lady. Good storyteller. Yeah, I always wish that I could be like her, you know. Yes, she's missing. You need to keep listening to me. You have some more questions, my friend?
Of course, of course. Well, so you've talked about hunting and fishing and farming and stuff. Could you tell us a little more about the sorts of things you did growing up?
Okay, yes. Well, it all begins down in the back of Sami Lewis. Mm-hmm. Remember, that's the first spot I told you, the Seminole Indians down, Rat Town, after they were driven from South Florida or from Florida, the Everglades, whatever. This place is called Fairweather Lake Country Wood. And the other place is called the Hall Cuppet. And the other place is called Billy Cuppet. Now, this is where the poisonous is food you could manufacture to be the sweetest and the greatest bread and porridge for babies and big grown-ups. I'll give you a story about this. I was only at the age of 9 to 10. And my grandmother and my grandfather, early morning, early then, it's about around 6 o'clock like that. We done had our tea, because we use bush to make tea with, you know. We use some high nature root and boil our tea and everything. Then we use our bearish bread for flour bread, because there was no flour. Living in the wilds where there's no shops, no rice, no grits, no salt, no oil to fry nothing with, or nothing like that. So everything that you put inside, you better think right what you're dealing with in that bush to put that down there. Yes, you will not have a chance to go look for something else to put down there. So that means everything in the bush is partly poisonous. But you manufacture it to make it become edible. So one morning early, this is how my legacy starts, with manufacturing stuff, poisonous stuff and things like that, turn it into edible stuff. My grandmother called me and said, Wilton, he said, come here. He said, see these plants here? They are called berush. He said, now, you see the wood over there? Go bring that piece of wood here. He said, bring the cutlass. Old piece of knucky cutlass. Red, we're so rusty, it's red. You had to sharpen it on the rock. Sharpen it on the rock. And I chipped one end of that piece of wood. The wood is about this length. It's called bullet wood. It's so hard, when you chop on it, you get king. It's harder than the mahogany wood. You hear? King. King, I've been there for half a day trying to chip that flat on one side. That's a 45. You know what I mean? So it can go deep into the ground to pry the root out of the ground. Man, listen here. Lord Almighty, I go, Father, I thank you, Jesus, because I gone through some tough times. And my days, man, I tell you, I'm the oldest and the youngest of the Seminoles left behind there in Red Bay. And my grandmother, she said, Wilton, you say, you know something? You see this thing, what I want you to dig up, this poison, you know, you can't eat this ain't cassava, this ain't potato. That's how she speaks. Some must speak like her. This is not cassava, this is not potato. This is berush. She's called it bearish. But the proper name, scientific name is berush. I don't know if you have that over here in the United States. But if you have it here, and I do happen to go through the wilderness and I see it, I would get it up, manufacture it before I leave from here, so you can see that it's edible. And it saves baby lives. Yes, of course. And it gives strength to babies. It gives strength to the big, mom and dad. It gives strength to the whole family if you knows how to manufacture it. The arrow don't need no manufacturing. All the arrow need is to dig up, put in the fire, or grill it, or boil it, and you can eat it. Or you can griddle it, get the start from it. Oh, that's the #1 porridge. No porridge in the world tastes like arrow porridge. The best porridge you could ever eat in your life is arrow porridge. When you take that 5 spoonful, you can feel like a monster. Arrow root. Now, my grandmother said, these berush can be used, but you have to manufacture it. You have to griddle it and wash it. Remember I was telling you about that? Okay, now, what happened here? We're digging this berush. All of a sudden, when I look, I see this big, huge bird. Bird's standing up with this height, walking. 2 feet, you know, like human feet. But the bird got wings. I didn't notice how, look at the face, because it has his back to him. And I'm walking. So I said, Mama, you see that big boy? We can eat boy and dog. Big fish dog, Mama said. Puna, that's Chick Chinese. Don't you know, try to walk down, boy. I said, Mama, you know what? I'm hungry. I said, that boy could feed me and you and Papa. Mama said, Puna, try to walk down. I tried to walk down. Would you believe that boy had enough sense to know that danger was in the back of him? He flew up in the pine tree and met up in this big pole. And as they always pull 2 pine trees head together, like that. And he went straight in the little round hole. The hole is about almost wide as this screen right here.
Okay.
And he went through that. And I ain't see him no more. Mama said, Puna, you see what I've been telling you? I said, Chick Chiney, listen to mama, you can live long. You don't listen to mama, you can die in the backyard. I said, why do you think I still living in the backyard? Because I'm wise, I know these things. I've seen these things. See, I saw one of them through the bark of the tree in Otnell Dean's. That's what my grandmother told me. See, and this is my cousin now, Otnell Dean, that's her cousin too. And they were both young girls at the time this happened on Otnell Dean. She was about 18, 19, she said. Otnell being about around 15, 16. And the Deegan variation, the boy would come out shuffling his feathers like this. She went after that wind, boy's feathers wet, so they trying to dry themselves off. And she basically would laugh at the bird. So the boy get up and go on in the tree, say, you laughing at me? Laugh at this. Pop! Right in the knee. Magical bird. I was giving them a little story about that downstairs a while ago. Me and Mr. Wallace. And you know what? She fell to the ground. And they had to build a pine stretcher, put on the pine stretcher, drag her out there to the boat, to the canoe, where they came up in there with, and pull it down to it. Continue has a little sail on it, got a sail, you know, and rest, set sail, and rest, set sail, and paddle, set sail, paddle, because the wind stays steady blowing all the time like that, till they get it to Red Bay. From Red Bay, they took it to Low Sound. From Low Sound, they took it to Nicholstown to see. So they called a lady named, who was the nurse at the time? Not Neela. Neela mother. A lady named Neela was so nice, but not at that time. Her mother was nice at the time. So she couldn't do no good for her. So she had to put her on the mail boat and send her to Nassau. Now, it was hard in them times during their times. We had a little better in my times coming up. But it's still hard in Red Bay till now. You understand what I'm saying to you? Because there's a lot of people does not have a job. There's no job facilities there. There's no kind of institute where you can train people to do this and do that or whatever, you know what I mean? And only those who have the culture within them that lives stronger than those who don't have it. So that's why I always try to teach the culture of the Red Bay Seminoles to those who don't know. They are Seminoles descendants, but they don't know their culture. And they depend on domestics, help and stuff like that, which they cannot find. You understand? So the area where my grandmother and I and my grandfather them were farming, these areas are called the Hog Cuppers, Billy Cuppers, Fairweatherly Country Wood. These was rich ground. You put anything in the ground, and a couple of days it's up. Couple of months you can eat. 2-3 months you can dig your potato. You can eat your cassava. You can pick your peas, your beans, or you pluck your corns or whatever. Nowadays, nobody farm in them areas no more. No, nobody farm those areas no more. Since my grandmother died out, Louise Colebrook died out, John Colebrook died out, Bruce Marshall, Sherry Russell, Pa Nelson Russell, all of these are Seminole Indians. After all of them died out, I didn't know these people. They were the last set of Indians left there. And I was a young boy. I mean, I can't remember well, you know. After they all died out, like farming, it gone down. So everybody looking to catch some crabs and catch some fish to sell, and so they can feed the family and pay the bills off. Well, I still do my little farming because enough times I don't have money in my pocket. And I have a wife and I have 7 kids and I got 6 grandsons. Enough time they don't have anything and they call upon me who don't have nothing. So I have to have some way that I can feed my grandkids, if not my kids. And that's not only with carbon get this like that, you can feel it. That's hardship. A hardship. I don't steal to feed them. You can see this is not a stealing hand. No. Okay? So, even up to now, it's kind of off on me back in the Bahamas with my family, you know. Sometimes I wish that I could come to the United States and find a good job or find a record producer company in which I can cut some record or something like that and big up my family, big up myself with some change, try to change my life a little bit because all my lifetime I had it hard, very hard. I mean, other people have it harder than I do, you know. What I'm trying to say is that all my life, partly, you know, it's been this way for me. That's why I'm so thankful to God that I lived long enough to come to America for the first time at the age of 56. And so far as I can see, it seems like I find more love in America with strangers than my own family and friends and neighbors. Because the greetings that they give to me, the contribution that they show me and all of that, the respect that they show me, like they say, your biggest enemy always be in your house. You know what I mean? And I get to find that really true, you know? So I respect my family, all right, but I really respect America highly. I mean, God forgive me for that, Father, but this is what I see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
They cares for you. America cares for you. God bless America. You have any more questions, my friend?
Sure. Well, so you talked about the Seminoles coming down through the ocean. Did your grandmother ever talk, or anyone else ever talk about back in Florida, where I guess they would have come from, or any of the stuff before that storm?
Yeah, Sami Lewis, he was the chief. And Boladukas, Bolag, he was also a chief. And Amuna, she was the chief. At the first appearance of the Seminole to Andros Island, they were chiefs, okay? They were on their crew. Everybody who on this crew boat here, there's a chief in each crew. And these chiefs were so concerned with their flocks or their crews or people, they make sure that each person in the boat carries a certain amount of things when they're traveling, just in case if something hastily happen, well, everybody could still survive. Let's say I carry bread, you carry water, the other one carry a stick, or the other one carry a pig, or somebody carry an iguana, somebody carry some cabbage heart, somebody carry some wild yam, or somebody carry some cassava, some potato, some corn, you know what I mean? And that's how they survive, by everybody carrying a little of something until they get to the real spot where they could rehabilitate themselves. And my Grammy always is telling me, say, Wilton, he say, you know something? Sometime I wish I'd been back in them days when my grandfather, Pacific Bolag, was still alive, you know. Not her grandfather, her father. I said, Mama, I see you know how long Papa dead. Papa died over 30 odd years, over 100 years almost, or 200 years ago. You want to be back there in them days when you couldn't find flour, you couldn't eat corn grits, couldn't find corn grits, you couldn't eat nothing like that. You want to go back in them times? You could go back in the bush and dig up them old cassava, them poison cassava, not those sweet cassava, poison cassava, wild cassava. You got to grate it and wash it 3 times to eat it. You want to go back in them times, Mama? Puna dip in the best days. Boy, this woman used to kill me here. Puna knows the best days. I said, no, Mama, you eating flour, rice, and grits these days. These are the best days. You can tell me I possess something out of the ground that is deadly poison. to feed my family. Now you can tell me they're the best days? Come on, mama. Yeah, boy, you don't know what you're talking about. Eh? I could tell you they were the best days. I said, Lord have mercy, Jesus. Old people has a way, when they believe in something, you can't get their mind changed, you know. Regardless of what you show them or tell them, you can't change their mind. If they're going to go jump in the river or drown, you can't stop them. I'm telling you. And she going on like that, you know. Let me tell you why she going on like that. A little example to show you what a great deal is. My grandmother just died, you know. Little before Rosalind's mother. You heard of Miss Rosalind Howard's mother? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, my Grammy died about 2 months before. Oh. I'm still feeling the sorrows of my grandmother. All over my head, I'm still feeling her sorrows. So, you know, like I mentioned to you, tears came on my eyes the other night, right down there, when I saw a photo on the screen. So I say, Mama, I say, my God has blessed you in this early age that we could grow cassava, potatoes, yam, this, that. You don't have to go back in the back there to go dig up no bay rush or no Danish. Something called Danish, deadly poison. It comes with that size. And it goes in a tin dirt. And you have to grate it out and wash it the same way you wash the bearish. Okay, 3 times. If you don't wash it 3 times, don't eat it. You eat it, before you finish eating it, you can drop. That's how poisonous it is.
How can you tell when it's soaked enough? Can you smell it or something?
You can smell it. You can smell it. You can smell the poison. While you're grating it, I tell you, it gets you. Yeah. You grate it and you find yourself. If you don't stop and relax yourself for a while and catch yourself and go drink some water, you'll be dropping. So you have to recuperate a little while and then go back after it. Do it again. What I used to do is to take the cloth, my shirt. There wasn't no clothes, you know. We used to OK flour bag for shirt, OK flour bag for pants. You know what was my bed? Crocus bag. I used to sleep in a crocus sack. You know, crocus sack. Not even this type of crocus. The thick links one. Look like a net almost. That's what I used to sleep in those days. Till I reached the age of 16, I was sleeping in crocus sack. You could imagine that. That's my bed. Like how you have walk on the floor, I sleep on the ground. High concrete floor, board floor, I sleep on the ground. Till I reach a man. And been able to do something for myself and been able to go off. Hey, I can't see you telling me, boy, those were the best days. I can't see it till today. And like I say, ignorancy is something, excuse me for calling my Grammy, for saying that ignorancy is something, but then, do you know that when she was sick, we tried to get her to the doctor and this woman wouldn't go? Many times our children say, Mama, or grandchildren say, Mama, we want to take you to the doctor, Mama. You can get better, Mama. We're going to take you to the doctor so the doctor can check you and you're going to be all right. Child, I ain't want nobody carry me to no doctor. Jesus is my doctor. Child, I ain't want nobody carry me to the old folks' home. I in my old folks' home now, my house. See in black house, you see I've been sitting down too, on the screen, black and red house, red trimming and black. That's her right there. That's her old folks' home right there. Would you believe that woman died right in that house? 2 months ago, we tried to get this woman out of that house to go see the doctor. This woman could have talked good, you know. She didn't get that weak. She was kind of strong talking. I said, boy, Puno. He said, Mama ain't gonna live long. That's what she tell me. I said, Mama, you can live long if you listen to people sometime. Plenty of people can save their lives if they listen to others, you know. I say, but if you determine that you're willing to go through whatever you want to go through, no one could really stop you because that's your rights. If you want to die that way, die that way. But I can't stop you from dying that way. And she had to go to underneath you, God bless the mark, take up all her throat. From a girl at the age 14, she said. She started feeling the pain. And Dr. Como Blatch, he was an American white man, the U.S. government, Abraham Lincoln was alive at the time, sent him there to the Bahamas to cure some of the slaves in them who were sick badly with this thing called the yellow fever. Some kind of sickness was going on in them time. Anyhow, I forget what type of sickness was going on. But you know something? She was telling me about that. Why, right? Till today, we try to get her to go to the doctor. She wouldn't go. So one day I went out in a golf cart. Because I have a golf cart at my house where I go fishing, and things like that. So I put the golf cart in the yard, right in the yard, because I already got a news that your grandmother is low. When they say low, that means, you're feeling bad, real bad to die. So I put the golf cart in the yard and I jump out. The way I gone in the yard within the golf cart, everybody was sitting on the stools and walking like, they get out of the way. What happened, Robert? My nickname also is Robert. I said, what happened, Robert, man? I said, man, someone tell me Grammy dying. I said, boy, all the way you coming, she's still ain't going nowhere. I said, what? I said, man, she coming out of this house now. I go into the house. This one sitting here, that one sitting here, this one sitting here, that one's everybody looking at her. Some fun and all like this. I said, no, see, just something can get me mad right now. You know what I mean? I said, this can get me mad. Y'all see this woman? She dying. She can't talk no more. She's staring up in the air. Y'all ain't gonna try to move off her bed or call a doctor or something? Telephone there. Call a doctor nice. Let them come and check out. I go on. I leave from there because I don't see. I was getting mad and, tears start coming to my eyes and things like that. Because I don't know my mother gonna die, And I have this feeling that my mother gonna die because the way I look at her on the bed laying down, I say, oh my God, no more, Mama, no more. I say, oh Lord, no more my grandmother, no more. Man. Everybody inside is looking at her. No one can help her. I say, why don't somebody call the doctor? And you can understand me. I say nobody call the doctor for her. No one touch her, no one cat in no old folks home, or cat in no hospital. I say, yeah. I say, tell you what, if my Grammy die in this yard or in this house, I ain't gonna be pleasant. You all better have a policeman on hand for me. Because whoever is responsible for her money and ain't taken out of the doctor, I can deal without one individually. So I listen to one, my two cousins, my auntie daughters. They say, Wilton, brother, you might as well hush your mouth because Mama ain't going away. And the people who get her money, you can't get Mama money from these people. They saving Mama money to bury Mama. I say, I just hope it's like that. Because I'm the oldest grandchild, and I'm like a son to her. She raised me from 7 months old, and I know I have some say. Nobody can tell me I ain't got no say. That's my mama. Boy, look here. I leave from down there quick because I don't see what was going to happen, police did come yet. Police coming, but they ain't come yet. I going home. I did do. Let's see what I was building. I was doing a carbon or something. I was building a hog head. Hog head. No, I wasn't doing a hog head. I was doing iguana. I was building iguana. Doing an iguana. And look, I see when a little boy come through the back of my yard, right? Because there's two roads, one on the back section of my property, one on the front section of my property. He said, Uncle Robert. He said, you what happened? I said, what happened? He said, Mama, Dad. I said, what? I dropped the tools. Man, let me tell you something. My greatest storyteller has gone. Thank God she left her legacy with me so I can share with the rest of her grandchildren. Because some of them live with her. And they never sit down close as 10 feet away from her to hear her tell a story to the tourists. But I grew up as a child with her telling me these stories, which she told the tourists. There wasn't nobody in the yard, only me. The rest of the kids, they come after. The journey come lately. The new kids in town. Just the old kid ever been in town. So, I'm not self-praising myself, but I can guarantee you this much. Whatever she has documented on tape recorders or videos or whatever, it's hidden inside here from a child. That's why I'm not afraid to speak and talk for her or talk for my grandfather or my other grandmother or my other grandfather, because all of them has given me and lectured to me histories on top of histories. And I am a storyteller, I'm a songwriter, explorer, bush doctor, musician, entertainer, jungle dancer. I'm the people's choice. Self-praise, there's no recommendation. But when you live a life, your life speaks for you. Any more questions, my brother?
Many. Well, so you've talked a lot about the one grandmother, but you mentioned your grandfathers and your other grandmother. Could you tell us a little bit more about them?
Yeah, you mean the Russell family?
Yeah.
Because that's the Marshall and there's the Merritt and the Evanses and them. Okay? And well, anyway, let's get to the Russells. Well, Pa Nelson Russell, he was one of the biggest hand man, Seminole man, came from Florida. This guy was like a giant. No belly. So Mama Lee say, and my grandmother Amelia say, that's her granddaddy. Amelia Marshall, Pa Nelson Russell was her granddaddy. That's her mother, father. My grandmother, mother the name Blossom Russell. Okay? Blossom Russell. And Blossom Russell father was my great-grandfather, which is my grandmother, grandfather. Granny great, that's my granny great-grandfather. So that's my daddy, grandfather, okay? Now, Pa Nelson Russell, he was so strong in those days when things was very bad. Well, the hurricane broke up his canoe. What he did to build himself a boat, he went deep into the forest and he built his boat out of the green pine. Him and my other great-great-granduncle, Josie Colebrook, those two were the two strongest Seminole Indians, came from Florida. With all the whole tribe, them two were like giants. Josie Colebrook, Pa Nelson Russell, the legacy still lives on. And I still know the history about them. And now I forget it from a child. I always keep it inside. Well, both of them were famous fishermen, famous boat builders in their times, okay? And my grandmothers on their side, my great-grandmothers on their side, granny great, I should say, on their side, which was their wife I'm talking about. They were the most outstanding straw basket makers in the Bahamas. They used to use stick for needle to sew baskets. And the two guys who built boats, they used to use rock to chop wood with. You can imagine a guy take a rock and make an axe with, from rock, flint rock, and that flint rock chop wood. Could you imagine that? There was no steel around for them to use to build no boat. I can imagine that, eh? How could you build a boat without a steel? I'm doing woodworking. It tears up my hand just by using the tools and stuff. Steel handle tools, which is steel frame tools, but the handle is wood. But if it does my hands like this, you see that that's hard work. Holding tools, carving, digging in the ground, stop digging fruits and things to eat. But what amazes me is that These guys go like little 10 miles in the bush. And when they come out with 9 to 10 feet, 12 feet out on their shoulders. Green pine. You can imagine a piece of wood from here to her about this thick. You got a string to lift that. Well, imagine a boat built from that type of wood, this high, or this high. You know what I mean? And one man toting that on his shoulder. When he tied on his shoulder, he shift his shoulder. So my Grammy says, my Grammy stems told me, because they all is gone now. You know, I sit down to myself and I think, I say, boy, I only wish I'd been strong as these guys. You know, I wonder what kind of food they used to eat. You know what I mean? Then I think back, I say, oh yeah, I know. Wild boars, iguanas, wild roots, just like they grew me up, eating those things, and it gives them plenty strength. You know what I mean? Now, these are the guys who led the way. You see them, eligible guys that I call, these are the guys who led the way of the Seminoles to Red Bay. Courage, they had so much courage in them to be paddling from Florida. Man, just flying in that jet, Delta Airlines jet. I've been flying for almost 3 hours, man, and I just looking at land. No water, just land. After we pass Bibony and we hit over in the Florida Keys, I get to see the Scattery houses, but I say, my God, is this where they... I was thinking in my mind, who in the hell can paddle a boat from America to the Bahamas? Who can do that? I don't think we have anybody left in the world today who would challenge themselves, that kind of thing, to cross that blue-black Gulf out there, to go to the Bahamas. Man, when you look down in Delta Airlines and that, man, aside the plane, that water look like that, black. And you can see, like, the white surges, those are the waves. So you can imagine Paul Russell, Joe Louis, Josie Colbert, Bullet Deckers, Bullet Newton, and many others. They paddled those canoes from all the way in the United States coast, that Gulf Stream, all the way into Red Bay or Louis Coppice. They didn't know they was going to land in there, you know. That's how come the wind cast them there, pushed them there. They didn't know that wasn't the choice to land there. They just went for a land. But instead of going deep south, they came east. Okay? But there was still more in the south, because if you in Red Bay and you used to go to Cedar Carpet, or you used to go to McQueen-Well, or you used to go to Sami Lewis, they're in the south from Red Bay's dock. And I'm talking about a good little 15 to 20 miles from Red Bay's dock. One of these places that I have called or mentioned in my lecture, it's about 15 to 20 miles from Red Bay's dock. And I was thinking in my mind, how could somebody have that kind of power to push against all that current in the Gulf Stream? You know? Even though the wind is in the back of you, pushing you, the current, you know, that high wave going up here like that, and you coming back down with children and wives and, oh my God, those guys had courage. Believe me, those guys had plenty courage. I was thinking in my mind, do we have any more Seminoles left behind that will have that kind of courage today? Suddenly it ain't me. Quite a bit, it ain't me. No, it ain't me. It gotta be somebody else. I don't know who that person is. But those guys, Joe Louis, Paul Russell, I honor these guys. I honor their sons. I honor their wives for being the greatest straw basket makers. They sew basket with sticks, using stick. Put an eye through a stick. What they put the eye in the stick and make a needle for? That's amazing. What did they use to put the eye through a stick that thick? What did they use to put an eye in there? I wonder, it was, right? Till now, I'm still thinking, what did they use to put the iron sticks to make needle? Now, my Grammy taught me how to make the wooden needle. My grandfather taught me how to make the wooden needles to sew the baskets. So that means, if it comes to it, I can sew my basket without the steel needle because I know how to make the wooden needle. Isn't that clever? Very clever, huh? Well, you know something? I'm the only person in Red Bay can do that. The only person left in Red Bay that can make a wooden needle and sew a basket. Straw basket you see down there with a wooden needle. Isn't that amazing? I'm telling you, this is truth. This is real truth. So even if you was come to Red Bay and you ask a question, teaching every individual, can you make me a wooden needle? They say, you gotta go to Henry Wallace or Wilton. That's what they're gonna tell you. Henry Wallace can't. He will tell you himself he cannot make a wooden sail needle. I am the only person left in Red Bay that can make a wooden sail needle for you to sew a basket with. Or sew your pants or your shirt. That's culture. Ancient culture of the Seminoles. Yeah, man. And these guys, you know how they say eat their meat when they catch too much of meat? They take out the guts. Whatever that animal is, they take the guts out. And if the guts is edible, they take out certain parts of that guts and they cast it away into the jungle or they bury it or something like that. And the other part, what they do is they clean it, turn it inside out. They use a papaw. You know papaw? Papaya? Papaya, we call it papaw, you know? But it's papaya, scientific. They use we call it the limb, the leaves are on, we call that papaw quill. So we use the quill to turn the pig guts out and cleans it. I don't know if you sell pig gut sauce in America, but we sure does it in the island of the Bahamas. So that's how these guys used to clean their pig guts. They don't throw away nothing. The balls from the pig, they don't throw that away either. I don't know how they get it to preserve it at those days, but I learned it before my grandfather passed away, and I was between the ages of 21, 22. And we had these wild pigs inside the pen, and I watch him. Every one that he killed, he take the balls, so he squanched them, he squanched the blood out of them, and he take the balls and he put on the side. He said, Papa, what you putting the balls on the side here for? For the dogs? I said, dogs? Puna, when dog touch them, he dead, I'll be eating balls. Puna, when dog touch these hog balls, I'll be eating his balls. I said, okay, I get you, Papa, I get you. He said, what I want you to do, Puna? Put on some hot water and chew all of them balls in the pot. And go get your fire, put some water in the big skillet, we call it skillet, you know, in those days. It's about this size. Put all the balls in the pot, little 6, 7 balls, the big wild balls. Man, scrape them off, clean them very good. Now, Puna, what I want you to do is go get the salt. There wasn't no box salt at the time. We used this block salt. Salt used to come in a block in those days, so we put it in the cooker's bag and beat it with a piece of stick or rock till it turned fine. Then what he used to do is wash the blood off the balls after you cut it and slice it, dice it like you dice onion. To put in omelets. And we beat the salt and rub it all over the balls then. Take it and hang it out on the tree limb or something like that. But you got to tie it on the tree limb because the vultures would come and grab it and go with it. So He taught me how to cure the balls. So cure the balls, you know. Oh man, this guy's is something else. This guy's is something else. So the first time I'm gonna eat these pig balls, man, I tell you, man, that was something. My grandfather said, "Now, Puna," that's like 4 days after, you know. He said, "Puna boy, we gonna have some balls in there." I said, "Papa, I ain't one of them." I said, "Papa Shad, Papa Bruce, I ain't one of them balls." So Papa said, "Yeah, man, you can eat some balls and do today." So you go and take the balls them down, cut them up nice and good, you know. Chop them up there nice and good. Caught a fire, put the water in the pot, throw all the balls after you done chop them up inside there. And let them steep in the hot boiling water. Then we start scraping them off. All those flies, eggs and stuff, they taking the stick and digging those flies, eggs out. You know what I mean? Because those are skippers, you know. And taking them out. Oh my God, Jesus Almighty, going through some trouble in life. Oh. My grandmother said to me, "Puna, them in the best days." No, Mama, your dad and God, no, they wasn't the best days. Man, you know, when you don't do those balls and clean them balls off good and set on that pot, and you go mix the bread and watch them, you know, mixing that cunty. We used to call the brioche cunty for short, you know, cunty dough. Man, mixing them cunty dough, That time I push in fire and I blind fire. I push in fire, making sure this thing, you know. I always help her, you know, to my grandparents. I'm their helper, you know. Papa used to say, "Puna, well, ain't be too long before they're done because them pig ain't been too old. They're like little 2-3 years old." I said, "What?" Jesus Christ. They're tougher than cowhide. He boiling, man. He boiled from that morning like now the sun get like here. I still pushing fire underneath them balls. Make sure them balls coupled soft, you know. Because they're hard, you know, when something is corn, it's hard. It's like chewing corn beef. The beef with your corn in the shop, not the one in the can. The one that you put in dried out, you know, that. It's harder than that. The balls were harder than that. It's like, that's how it sounds before you put it in the pot. So you know what I'm dealing with here. Man, oh my God. One time to put those cunty dough inside of that pot. Say, "Puna, come for the bowl." That time you making these dumplings as thick as this phone, like this. Thick as this phone. These dough but long as this phone. Thing up here. And thick as that. And long as that. Man, you only can eat one or two. You know, I'm telling you. And when this bearish dough land down in you, man, it feel like a piece of wood in you. I'm telling you. You don't want to drink water. No, you don't want to drink water behind that. You got it. Man, listen here. Oh my God. Time, you know, Papa never had good teeth. He never had good teeth. His teeth, like, my age bracket, his mouth was empty. I'm 56 and I only lose one teeth because I put that out. I was spinning a bicycle up at the time that happened, and the bicycle had come down. There was no bike around, but I found this old rim on the edge of the water. So I said, "How the hell, let's get you." You know what I mean? Somebody perhaps had it in the boat for some reason or whatever they had it for, I don't know. They might have perhaps used it for main sheet wing. Because I could see where they had like old birch wood and was attached to a piece of wood. So I said perhaps that was their main sheet where they pull in their boom and tie the boom onto it. Then it's perhaps the rope pop or whatever they had on and then drift ashore or something like that. So I used that to play with, you know, and rock me right here. It didn't break the teeth out instantly, but it caused it to infect it. And it infected me so much, I had to take it out. Man, but I wanted to finish the ball star. Man, when that dough done, and that pot done, and I began to eat with my grandpa and my grandmother, he said to her, he said, "Now, Puna, you gotta eat all your dough, don't let it cold, because if you let it cold, it's gonna be hotter than your balls." So if you let those bearish do cold on you, they're gonna be harder than the balls which you're eating in your plate. I say, what, mama? Papa, come on, man. Mama, why you always eat the waste part of the meat and save the best part? Mama say, they for hard time, boy. You can't bother with that. They eat the foot, the pig feet. You know, it's the corn and pig feet. Chop it, put salt on it, and hang it out. Chop it out. This had me doing all of that. Chop open the pig feet and nice quarter and nine, chopping out bits and other, chopping out a bits, and it's mostly bone anyway. Season that down, you put that out to dry. That time be pig feet and rice, or pig rice was around at the time. They used to go on the what about the name now? The Marcella. No, the Madam Elizabeth. They used to go to Madam Elizabeth to Nassau from Morgan's Bluff to get rice and flour. How they used to do that? They used to pick the pears and dig their potatoes and the pumpkins, and dig their yams and stuff like that. They loaded up the dinghy boat, and it's a high sail from Red Bay and sail to Morgan's Bluff, Andrews, where there was deeper channel for the mail boat to come in. And they put all of those on the mail boat, and their fees was like $5 from Morgan's Bluff to Nassau. Then when they get to Nassau, they go to the exchange, the produce exchange, and that's where they sell their products and stuff. Back in my times when I'm talking about. But I'm glad, in one way that I learned the culture still, like eating commonly like that, because if things was to get real bad and I was to go back into the jungle, I can teach my kids them how to eat balls and duck. Oh my God, kids. Oh, you know what I mean? It's something to laugh at still, but hey man, when times are red, man. When times are tough, You gotta do what you gotta do to survive somehow, Thank God for those old folks, man. They taught me a lot. Yeah, they taught me a whole lot, man. Yeah, man. Once ago, I used to think you cannot eat the man away. I said, man, you can't eat the man away, Papa. Papa said, can't eat the man away? We can eat one today. That's food. You know what I mean? Once they bury in the mud, they flap their wings, their two wings, and the mud come and bury them over like that. So, go on and shot, I break this long stick, 10 feet long, like that. And you walk in the shallow water, catching your hair to your knees like that. Papa say, the first blue spot you see in the mud, walk around the front of it and strike it right in the middle of the head. That's one. And the first one I hit was about this size. Huge guy. I'm a guy only about around 14, 15. Young, little skinny little boy, When I go and I grab the stick, and when they say, rum like that, man, I see when this thing come up out of the water like that, like a thorn, like a big spear, man, that's the tail, So I had to get out of the way quick. And he gone with the stick in his head. He gone like he spin over. Papa say, get one, pony, you get one. Come, grab my stick and hit him again. I go on to Papa, I leave him there with the stick in his head. I go on to Papa, grab Papa's stick, and I hit him in the rib cage. Wham, close to the edge of his body part. Papa said, don't hold that tail. I said, Papa, what do you mean don't hold the tail and he dead? First time I ever get a launch from a stingray. Man, I go and I hold that tail. And as I hold that tail, I see when he do like that. Man, I look at my hand, blood.
Oh.
Man, that thing on the back of the tail, that whipped my hand, man. It's so long now you cannot see because it's all disappeared, But I'm talking about 15 years old boy, I'm 56 now, so you wouldn't be able to see nothing like that in my hands. But I'm just letting you know, all of those survival things we have to do to survive. Kill stingrays, kill sharks, eat sharks, iguanas, wild boars. Almost ate a chick shiny too. God bless Mama. Even though you're gone, Mama, God bless you. You saved my butt on yours. Almost ate that chick charity. If he didn't spin around and jump up in that tree, he would have been a dead chick charity. That aquafina, but that size. I really didn't mean to get this guy, man. He's so puffy and nice looking. He's bigger than a regular duck you buy at the store. You know, it's turning like this. So I couldn't let that good juicy boy go. I want boy didn't do, boy didn't grits or something, you know. Corn grits was our food and not no regular yellow grits of the store. Corn grits, you know the color of a corn grits when you don't grind it in an old ancient mill. Corn mill, you know the old ancient, but you go like this. You still have that mill. Still have that mill in Red Bay today. That mill is older than me. That mill is that was Pa Nelson mill. He gave it to his granddaughter, Amelia Marshall. And he is gone over 100, close to 200 years ago he died. And that mill is still around today. I can carry you in the yard and let Yvonne or Agnes take it out and I'll show you it. That corn mill is still there. The corn mill is still there, my brother. And that corn mill make me active. Because I used to do most of the corn grinding for her. I used to grind all our corn. All the corn. Sometimes I take into coursing it. Sometimes when you're finding it, that's when I work you hard. If you try to finding the corn, finding the grits while the corn is baked, man, it works you hard. It works you hard. You be there all day. Sometimes I throw my head down and just like you're swimming, you know, position like that. Sometimes I get tired in my hand. I put my feet on it. Sometimes my legs get tired. I go back. Oh my God, Jesus of mercy! Thank God them days is over. Lord, thank you. I can't say they're over, but thank God I ain't gonna do that no more. You know what I mean? I don't have to go through that no more. Not in these 2012 and things like that, you know. I hope my children don't see those days or my grandkids don't see those days because, hey, man, it really, really was rough, man. Really, really rough. Even though it's kind of rough now, it's a little better than, plenty better. You know, much, much, much better these days. If you don't want to stay the Red Bay, you can go off and look for a job. As long as you have some common qualification, social qualifications, you can find a job. You know what I mean? You're a good swimmer, good fisherman, a good crabman, good hunter, you can find a job. Enough tourists come to Red Bay just to go hunting. Enough tourists come to Red Bay just to go fishing. And this is like a daily thing. So those who don't have the wood carving knowledge, well, there's something still to do. Go put some beans, some peas in the ground, or some corn, potatoes, cassawas, sweet peppers, onion, whatever you could afford from a store, like seeds. You go put it in the ground, and you could still survive within a couple of months, make some money, because the food exchange is right on Red Bay's Road, right connecting to Queens Highway. So all you need is your license, which you could go to Nicholstown Police Station or the Commissioner Administration Office and apply for your license, for your exporting license or whatever. And you can sell your foods right to the exchange. Instead of bringing it all the way to Nassau, you can do it right there on Red Bay's Road, connecting to the airport road, San Andreas Airport Road, which is called Queens Highway. And till today, people are still selling their foods there, you know. But there isn't very many people in Red Bay that is doing this, you know. There ain't very many people farming. You have like Cecil Marshall, Tremaine Newton, my uncle, the history writer, him, and a couple other people, myself and a couple other people. But finding them chemicals to grow these plants and stuff like that, it's a bit difficult because the money that you have to live on, or pay your bills with, or perhaps buy some rice or flour or a piece of meat to feed your family, you cannot take that to go buy fertilizer or Miracle Grow. You buy Miracle Grow fertilizer, you're going to be hungry, and your family going to be hungry for a couple of hard days. By the time your food out, you better have some more money to buy some more food or to send your children to school because they're going to stay home for that week or 2 weeks later. You know how many kids stay home just because nothing to eat? The parents just can't do any better. And now that there's a computer coming effect where you can go on the internet and gamble, buying numbers, some asking with your car. This never used to carry on in Red Bay. Never in the whole history of my lifetime this ever carry on in Red Bay. And I left this carrying on in Red Bay. Some asking, what New York true? I said, what the hell are you talking about? Because I don't know any shit about, excuse my expression, I don't know anything about computer. What Chicago true? Tell me, look at it, they sitting there having this talk. Oh Lord, I like they won't die when they ain't even nothing. I said, Lord Jesus Christ, what is coming to this place? No wonder why I seen some of the children so hungry with a couple dollars they have to feed the kids. They go take it and gamble it out. That don't make no sense. And then you can still say things tough. You're making things tough on yourself, on your kids. Because the money what you have to feed your kids with, you gambling it out. That money could send your child to school. That money could put tennis on your child's feet. That money could fill your child's stomach or buy him a bottle of water. You rather go through that on New York or Chicago? Yes, of course, chances are. But what about you lose more than you win? And your child stays home days after days after days. Your grandchildren staying home day after day. The teachers them keep on passing in their cars. Where's so-and-so? Where's so-and-so? Why are you keeping him home? Some so good. He's sick. Sick what? Yeah, he's sick of being home with no food to eat, even in the house where he is, because you take the money and gamble it out. This is what's going on in the Bahamas and every island right now. Not just Red Bay. Red Bay, Low Sound, Nicholstown, Muscat Point, Fresh Creek. And you leave Anderson and go on the other side of the south, it's the same thing. You go to Bimini, the same thing. Freeport, Abaco, Eleuthera, Exuma, Auckland's Island, Inagua, all over, I should say the world. It's a disease right now, it comes a disease in the world. People forget who we were. They forget their status. They forget where they came from. They forget what they used to. They forget the real facts of lives. They need to get back to them senses, man. Put some sense in here. We can make things better. We can't be looking on America to make things good for us every day. We can't look on the Bahamas to make things good for us every day. We can't look on our brothers and sisters to go borrow some money from them every day. Because you're taking their money every day, doing the same thing over and over and over. Kids gonna punish people. Kids are gonna punish, they go nowhere. Surely they're gonna die out, like some of our ancestors, for hungry. Okay? Stop what you're doing. Give the kids a chance. Kids need a chance like how we have had our chances. These kids of the 2012 centuries, 2010, and go on, they need a chance in life. We are the only ones that can give them that chance. Thank you, my brother.
My pleasure. Well, I guess we're probably at a good point to stop, unless you wanted to.
You start from ancient and the wind up. Anyway, you see that?
See, so.
From way back to 2012. From way back in the 18th centuries, and it stopped to 2012. But I'm here for some more interviewment, if you like.
Of course. Well, one thing we haven't talked about too much is your wood carving.
Oh,
I don't know
that.
if you'd like to say anything about that, but
Yeah, it's okay. It's cool. As a boy, I started making the spinning top. You know the top which you used to wind the cord on? You, that was the first piece of artwork I've ever done. And after I saw it, I got the knowledge from my grandfather. Bruce Marshall showed it to me. I said, Papa, what's that you doing? Papa said, boy, we ain't had nothing to play with it, man. We've been chilling. He said, my daddy showed me this. He said, now I'm going to show you this because one of these days Papa get dead and you ain't got nothing to play with. I said, Papa, please don't dad before you show me that. And would you believe? As soon as I finished talking to him, he said, take this adze. That's like a pickaxe shaped thing with no prong on the back of it. That's where they build the boat out. I mentioned that a little earlier. He said, go take this and cut down one tree and bring it back to me. Let me show you how you make the top. Spinning top. Go on and cut this tree, man. There wasn't no nail around, so what he did is make the top, bottom part, really sharp. And up here comes over like that. But this is a very big one. This is a very big one. This one being with that size. What were we using for line? There wasn't no nylon in those days. There was something called like construction cord, which you used for construction, to put on the block to do your browning and everything like that. It's a white cord, but it's not nylon. It's cotton, but it's pretty strong, you know. It's about the size of this wire. You take that and you wind that around the top till it comes so far, and you spin it. Wow! When you reflect it back like that, it sleeps. Top drop, suddenly it just sleep. It spin and sleep. Then the mind comes to me and says, man, now that dropping, you can pick that up, you know. It's my first time spinning top. I go on and touch the top like that to go pick it up. Man, that drrrr, bop. I said, Papa, you showing me how to hate myself. Papa said, you know what, till you touch that. You're supposed to let that spin until it stop. I said, okay, I get you. Man, what this? I try it again, you know. My feet bleeding. I ain't watching that because that was tough, you know. I pick it up, wind it on again. Papa said, you see how you're doing that? Throw it off in front of you. Don't let it be too close to your feet because it may drop on your feet. Sometimes it's happened to me. I said, all right, sir. What? When I do like that and I yog back like that, man, I top sleeping again. I said, Papa, that look like I could catch that, you know. Papa said, you catching it wrong. Papa said, what this? He going right there. And hold that top in his hand and that top sleep, tell it, pop. I said, my God. And I tried that, you know. And you know how long it take me to do that? Almost 2 weeks I had been practicing that to do that. And more people have been so smart. Man, they were smart. I was quick to catch on, but that one, I couldn't really deal with that. You know what I mean? No. My second piece of woodwork was something to put on my feet. Because I tired being bare feet and running them wild boars bare feet. All about through the bushes, I was running through the bushes. Sometimes, man, stick get in my feet and thing. I still can't stop because I won't catch the hub. I got to be that pin, yog the stick out and still take off on it. You know what I mean? And my big old prong stick in my hand, sharpen on the end, to jick him in the neck and thing. The bullet wood we used to use to kill him with. So I go ahead and I cut this gamalami tree down. You know what's gamalami? Something called gamalami. It's red, just like that pretty design on that photo there. A tree red, just like that. Okay. But it's light. It's very light. When you cut it down, it's white inside. And you only cut a limb about the size of this, about 4 inches. You know, don't cut the whole tree because you can't spin the top that big. You know, and you chip it down to the right size. And the clogs, you know something called clogs, where the chefs usually use to push their feet in.
Oh, yeah.
I started making that too. And no one gave me the idea to make that either. It just come to me that I'm tired being bare feet. And Daddy wouldn't buy me no shoe. My mother would took off and gone and left me. She ain't send me no shoe back. My pa, my dad, he just disappeared. He just donated me to me and my mommy, and he took off and he gone. So none of them concerned about my well-being or whatever. That's why my grandmother took me on so sincerely and seriously. To try and make my own shoe, my own tennis. I did all of that in wood. Kamalami wood. It's very, very light substance, you know what I mean? What happened is that, and the time I'm talking about, this was like 1969, no, 67, 68, 69, when I had enough sense to do these things. When my granddad saw that I could make the clogs and the slippers and take the cooker's bag, cut my bed. I cut the cooker's bag, like I mentioned, was my bed. I cut this off, the mouth of it. The rim of the mouth, I cut that off. And I make that like a bow hole in here. Take the cooker's protrusion, tie it on the outside, right? 2 strings, one coming here like this. Then I take 1 string, a bow hole in the wood, a bow hole in here in the wood, and I got a tie underneath here, making sure that I don't pull out. Making sure this one don't pull in. I bring this string from this side, pull it up here, bring this string from this side, pull it from here, and tie it here like this. So I can run my hog much better. I may not can run as fast as I go on bare feet, but I'm sure he's not going to get away from me because I must stay on him. And he can get tired before me because I was active in those days, very, very active. Till now I'm still active, although I'm 56 years old. And another thing, there was no tires. I can give you the story about the tires too, but this is how I started my woodwork experience. Making top, making clogs, slippers for my feet, and everything like that. And the 3rd thing that I've done in wood, the 4th thing that I've done in wood is I made a hand. I caught a piece of wood thicker than my hand, and I rest my hands on it. And I take the adze, the tip of the edge, and I do this, do that, I 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 do that, till I get it formed up. And I chip that out with the adze. Constantly, not no heavy chip, a heavy chop. Just keep on gouging and gouging and gouging and gouging and gouging and gouging. And I took Papa old, he had this old, they called it old hookery. There was a piece of steel, they called it old hookery. Well, this old hookery had no handle. It was so old, I don't know where the hell he get that from. But it was so old, it was black. But it was very sharp, very, very sharp. He used to use it to shave it. Shave his hair on his face with. So I said, Papa, lend me old hookery. For you to go walk my old hookery? Puna, I can't lend you my mama. Please tell Papa lend me old hookery. Let me try to get my hand out. What you doing, Puna? Bring that, let me see. When you see what I was doing, Mama didn't have to say anything. He passed the knife to me, and I finished dealing with the hand. And when I finished the hand, I said, Papa, look, it's a real hand, only one thing is wood. He said, boy, he said, you know Jesus been a carpenter when he was a boy? He said, do you know that you born 3 days before Jesus was born? I said, is that so, Papa? Papa said, yeah, you born 3 days before Jesus was born. The wise man was still looking for Jesus during the time you were born. You're going to be a very wise boy. He said, Puna, keep it up. You're going to be a very wise boy. Papa, you dead, you know. But these was your words, you know. And I remember these words, Papa. I'm not separating myself, but people tell me that I'm wise, Papa. Thank God for you. Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm separating myself. People tell me I'm wise. You know, I don't know what they mean when they say I'm wise. They could be meaning in different ways, but thank God for you, Papa. You know what you were saying. Yeah. Now today I'm a world famous artist. Known all over the world as a famous wood artist, and musical artist, bush doctor, good swimmer, good diver. Yeah, cultural guy. I love my life. Yeah. But most of all, my weakness is being gentle to people. Kids, that's my weakness. I hate to see a kid cry. Even if that's not my kid, I hate to see any kid cry. I can't take that. Because I'm thinking back about my days, you know, when my family left me alone and gone and leave me abandonedly. I don't know my mommy, I don't know my daddy. When I know my mother, I was 15 years old. When I know my father, I was 20 years old. That's sad. I don't want no kids wind up like that. Every mother out there, every father out there, please pay attention to your child or your kids, because they're letting you know they are our future. They are doctors, our lawyers, our preachers, our teachers, our professors, our scientists, our leaders, our inspectors, policemen, presidents, prime ministers. Hey, they are our life savers. Please pay attention to the kids of the world. That's the reason why I sing Papa Little Bouncing Boy, Papa Little Bouncing Girl, because I love kids to my heart. I haven't heard any entertainers sing for no kids. Not since I reached the age of 56. And if I was to die tomorrow, that song must go down in history. Papa Little Bouncing Boy, Papa Little Bouncing Girl. Mama Little Bouncing Boy, Mama Little Bouncing Girl. Uncle Little Bouncing Boy, Auntie Little Bouncing Boy. Uncle Little Bouncing Girl, Auntie Little Bouncing Girl. Trust me, even though they hate your little grinds sometimes, bounce them up and make them happy. Put them on your shoulder and pat them. They're the future of tomorrow. Take care of the kids. Leaders, take care of the kids. Moms and dads, brothers and sisters, uncle and aunts, take care of all kids. Doesn't matter what color they are. Take care of them. They're the future of tomorrow. They're the happiness of the present time and tomorrow. If you know what happiness is all about, if you know what love is all about, take care of the kids of the world, not just one continent. I said the whole entire world. I'm tired of seeing them crying. I'm tired of feeling their pain. That's why I have so many pains sometimes, because I feel for others, such as those kids. God bless you guys. Yeah. You have any more?
You know, I think that's a pretty good note to close on for now.
Yeah, just letting you know that it started from the late centuries and it wound up to 2012, but I couldn't finish off just like that.
Oh, yeah.
Kids are first.
It's true enough. Well, thank you very much.
Yes, my friend. Kids are first, man.